Edaville Family Theme Park is currently my home park. Located in southern Massachusetts, this is an amusement park themed around a historic railroad. The park has had a tumultuous history, including a few different closures, but the park is back in 2023, and as always, the Christmas Festival of Lights is the best time to visit. This video will discuss why and review the park as a whole. Ellis D. Atwood owned an 1,800-acre cranberry bog in Carver, Massachusetts. In the mid-1900s, Atwood created a 5.5-mile narrow-gauge railroad around the bog. This was originally intended to haul freight, but was quickly turned into a passenger train for tourists. In 1947, Edaville Railroad opened. The name Edaville was derived from Ellis D. Atwood's initials. From day one, the park's most popular season has been Christmas, as the train passed a series of light displays. While additional attractions were added, the railroad remained the focal point of the park. From the late 1950s onward, the railroad was no longer owned by the Atwood family, but they still owned the land. This led to disputes between both parties. After ongoing financial issues, the Atwood estate evicted the railroad owner, leading to the park's closure after the 1991 season, and the historic steam trains were sold to the newly formed Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum in Maine. After a few efforts to revive the park failed, owner Jack Flagg and developer John Deli Priscoli created the Cranrail Corp. They acquired an English steam locomotive and they were able to reopen the park in 1999, but the park's reputation was soured by two separate derailments in 2000 and 2001. As the Cranrail Corp's funds depleted, Deli Priscoli became the majority owner. He bought up the Atwood estate to eliminate any future land disputes. However, the park had millions in debt and declared bankruptcy after the 2004 season. The park was leased back to two former employees for 5 years. To help resolve debts, part of the property was sold to a housing development. This led to the original railroad being shortened to just 2 miles in length, roughly 1/3 the original size. After the lease expired, the employees did not want to renew their contract, so Deli Priscoli put the property up for sale with an asking price of $10 million. While there were many potential buyers, not all would continue to operate the property as an amusement park like he desired. So instead, Deli Priscoli invested in the park. The property was rebranded as Edaville Family Theme Park, and 2 new areas were added. First was Dino Land in 2014. This was a walking trail past nearly 24 dinosaurs. Second was Thomas Land USA in 2015. This was a $25 million investment with nearly a dozen rides themed around the popular franchise. This was a big splash for such a small park. This was far larger and better themed than any of the Thomas towns found at the Six Flags parks. The famous railroad was also modified to have a non-powered Thomas lead car. During this time, it would be powered by a diesel engine in the back. There were also some additional projects that were started but not completed, and it's a big what if for me if these were completed. These projects would have made the park much more appealing to adults. The most notable project would have been an additional themed area behind Thomas Land. There are 2 unfinished rides that have sat abandoned for nearly a decade. No infrastructure was ever built around them, but the train route passes right by them, which has made it sort of awkward. The signature ride in this section would have been Kerr Splash. This was a unique Mylar water coaster that originally ran at the Washington State Fair from 1995 to 2012. The ride was purchased cheap and assembled at Edaville in 2014, but it never opened. No reason was ever shared publicly, but there are rumors the trains were an issue. For nearly a decade, the coaster sat abandoned, but as of 2023, the ride is in the process of being dismantled. Then there's also a half-built go-kart track. You can see the paved roadway, but the fencing was never finished and no cars were ever added. Then the park also has a half-built dark ride that would have been called Pirate Adventure. The ride was advertised for a brief period at the park, and they specifically built an addition onto the Playhouse building to accommodate it. But it's unknown if the ride system and/or theming had ever been purchased and/or installed when it was cancelled. Something like this would be absolutely perfect on those chilly winter nights. There also are rumors the park had plans to add bumper boats and even a water park, but unlike the prior 3 rides, there is no visible evidence of this occurring. Edaville was almost a COVID casualty. Massachusetts has some of the strictest pandemic restrictions. Amusement parks specifically were kept closed for the entire 2020 season and not allowed to reopen until the summer of 2021. Edaville did not open for their summer season, but they did reopen for the Christmas Festival of Lights. In 2022, Deli Priscoli sold the property to new owners who will continue to operate Edaville as a theme park, and they started by making two key changes. First, the Thomas theming was removed. Thomasland USA was transformed into Alpine Village and it just recently reopened for the 2023 Christmas season. Second, the railroad once again operates with an authentic coal-fired steam engine. This returns the park to its original roots. The park's primary focus is now on the Christmas season. While the park opens for some festivals in the summer and fall months, the Festival of Lights is the most profitable and beloved season. Now let's talk about pricing. Parking is free in a giant gravel lot outside the park. Then you have 3 different admission options. The bronze ticket grants you access to the park's grounds. You can browse the light displays, shops, restaurants, and museums, but you cannot ride anything. This costs $13 to $15. I believe the park also offers individual ride tickets based on signage at different attractions, but I do not know how much they cost or where you get tickets. The silver ticket gives you admission and the ability to ride the train. This costs $30 to $33. Then the gold ticket gives you everything the silver ticket does, plus an additional 24 amusement rides. This will cost you $45 to $48. I think the train is a must, and that's where most of the cost is going. So you're basically paying an extra $15 for rides, which is reasonable given what the park offers. If you plan to visit, definitely buy your ticket in advance online. I've seen the park sell out several times. When this happens, you cannot buy admission at the gate. I like this park's entrance. You have a nice archway bearing the park's name, and you also cross over the railroad tracks. Then you have some shops off to the side. You then pass a ticket booth and officially enter the park. Despite this park's repeated financial issues, it does not look run down, not the least bit. In fact, the park as a whole looks fantastic. The initial reveal is excellent. In front of you, you have a giant pond that the train circles around. It is extra magical at night if you have the Christmas lights twinkling in the distance. The park as a whole really comes alive at night. The park is advertised as having over 17 million Christmas lights, and I believe it. The best lights are on the train route, but you also have several different displays throughout the park. I particularly love the decorative figures adjacent to the playhouse. The park is comprised of 5 different areas, each with a distinctly different vibe. The front section is Dickens's Village. This is designed to feel like a European Christmas market. You have a narrow alleyway with some quaint buildings. Then there are all sorts of shops. Some sell different food products, while others sell knickknacks, with my personal favorite being the antique shop. There is also a parallel midway with the park's carousel and a pathway running alongside the pond. This leads into Grand Central. This is the park's largest area and has 2 distinct sections. The front half is an open area servicing the train depot. The back area is tucked underneath the trees. There, you'll find a series of classic amusement rides. Off to the right is Dino Land, which is even more woodsy. But unfortunately, this area is not open during Christmas. This is a walking trail through the woods with dinosaur animatronics and parts of an abandoned kiddie coaster. I would love to see this area reopen in the future for the event. The back section is the recently reimagined Alpine Village. I was worried this area would look awkward without the Thomas IP, but they cleaned it up quite nicely. The only area where you can really tell it used to be Thomas Land is over by the old roundhouse. The area as a whole looks sleek, especially because it has the park's newest rides. There isn't much in terms of shade back here, but at night, you have dozens of illuminated Christmas trees. The final area is not an area per se, rather it's a multi-level building in Grand Central known as Ellis's Playhouse, but there's quite a bit to discover in there. The lower level includes the park's arcade, bumper cars, a bazillion signs, and also a model train museum. The latter is really cool. You have different tracks stacked on top of each other, and the employees are super enthusiastic. The upper level includes a museum dedicated to the park's history and cranberry harvesting. It's small, but well worth checking out. Then there's also a cluster of kiddie rides. One major advantage to this park is that you will not encounter sizable waits. Most rides will be complete walk-ons outside of a few exceptions. You may have to wait a cycle or two for the roller coasters. Then the Alpine Autobahn monorail usually is a wait due to its low capacity, but even so it's not too bad. If the queue is to the bottom of the stairs, it'll take maybe 15 to 20 minutes. The one ride you'll need to plan around is the railroad. If you're visiting during Christmas, you absolutely want to ride this at night because of the light displays. There are a few important things to take note of. 1. Check how many trains are in use. If there's one on the track, trains depart every hour. If 2 are in use, trains will depart every half hour. 2. Check when the last train departs. It is usually an hour before park close. Thankfully, I've never had a queue for it because the train holds a ton of people. And one really nice feature is that Edaville announces every departure over the park's PA system. Moving on to the ride lineup, Edaville caters mostly to kids and those with gentler tastes. The park doesn't really have any thrill rides. I was worried ride availability would be an issue given their limited operating season, but they had nearly every ride in operation this past Christmas. There were just a few exceptions. The Ferris wheel is currently closed for an extended refurbishment. Then 1 or 2 kiddie roundabouts in Alpine Village were closed, but similar rides were offered in Grand Central at least. And one nice feature this park offers is a ride availability page on their website if you want to check the status of a specific ride before coming. It is worth noting a few rides in close proximity may have rotating ride operators, but I would prefer that over a ride being straight up closed, and it's not like you'll have to wait a long time anyway. You'll just have to wait for the adjacent ride to finish up a cycle before an operator will come over. The heart and soul of the park is absolutely the railroad. It circles around the developed theme park, giving a nice overview. It also goes well beyond that, circling around the ponds and cranberry bogs. Then if you ride at night, you have countless light displays along the route. The whole experience takes roughly 20 minutes. If you can get it, I recommend sitting in the uncovered car up front because it offers a better view of the lights. The covered cars have some poles that can partially obstruct your view. Kids will then find some smaller trains scattered about the park as well. Another observation ride well worth checking out is the Alpine Autobahn monorail. It offers a bird's eye view of the lights and rides of Alpine Village. Moving on to the flat rides, you have a kiddie drop tower and Tannenbaum drop, and you also have the aforementioned set of bumper cars. The cars are rather slow, but the arena is quite unique because you'll have to cope with the support beams for the building. Then you have several spinning rides. The best of the bunch is the Scrambler. This classic Eli Bridge creation is quite fast, so you get good sustained laterals throughout, and it has a very long cycle as well. Just note that this one does not allow single riders. You also have 2 balloon rides that you can spin to your heart's content. You have the Samba balloon, which stays closer to the ground. Then there's the Nut Tree that raises up a tower. Then you have a wide range of kiddie roundabouts in each area of the park. They have all sorts of different vehicles, whether it be rocket ships or planes. Pick whichever tickles your fancy. Last but not least, the park has 2 different roller coasters. Both are on the smaller side, but they can comfortably hold adults and children. Matterhorn Mine Company is the coaster formerly known as Troublesome Trucks. This is a Zamperla speedy coaster with an identical layout to Circus Coaster at Luna Park at Coney Island. The Helix actually has some moderate G's as the long train is pulled down it. Then the bunny hump at ground level sorta chucks you forwards. This is a dynamic ride for its size, and it's fairly smooth, minus a bad jerk on the lift hill. The spinning Ladybug coaster is an SBF Visa spinner. It is the basic figure 8 layout. It has a long cycle and consistent spinning, particularly as you head down the downward spiral. Beyond the rides, the park shockingly does not have any midway games. The only games available can be found at the arcade. Most of it was blocked off in 2023, so hopefully that reopens fully in future years. Moving on to the food, I have mixed thoughts. On one hand, the food at Edaville is delicious. Most stands are outside vendors. On the other hand, food is extremely expensive. Fried dough was $12, a pretzel was $14, fried Oreos were $16, and meals were even pricier. This was some of the costliest theme park food I have ever seen. So I would recommend eating before you get to the park, especially because they do not open until 2 or 4 p.m. during the Christmas season. So do I recommend Edaville? If you're a local, I definitely recommend checking out the Christmas Festival of Lights. The train ride is magical that time of year, and the park looks fantastic with all the lights. While the ride lineup is not geared towards thrill seekers, it has plenty of appeal to kids and families. Then if you're a train enthusiast, I think this park is a must because of the coal-fired steam engine. How much time will you need? I think 3 to 4 hours is sufficient to explore the park and get a ride in their train, but I could see young kids wanting more time as they bounce from ride to ride. I would love to see this park expand in the future. Land is not an issue. The park covers nearly 250 acres, and much of that has not even been developed. The issue is the finances, hence why the park is closed a few times. But the park does have new owners, and hopefully they can carry the momentum of the Christmas season into the summer months. That has always been the big thing this park has needed to solve to find long-term success. I want nothing more than for my local park to grow. But until that happens, I'll try to visit the Festival of Lights annually because they do such a great job at that event. So those are my thoughts on Edaville Family Theme Park in Carver, Massachusetts. What are your thoughts about this park as a whole, or their Christmas event? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.